everyone, welcome back to ErikaBuilds and another Sims 4 speed build. Today we are in the world of Glimmerbrook working on a lot called Rock Ridge Canyon. As you can see, I just demolished the Max's house that was originally sitting here, and this lot you've seen me build on a few times. It was the location of my Oregon mountain home and also my Colorado mountain home. So I really like this lot a lot. I like this lot a lot because it's a nice size. It's a 40 by 30 and it has a really nice background of like trees and mountains and stuff. It's very picturesque. And I thought it would be a good location for this house that I'm building today, which is a house that I found on Instagram. I'm showing you a couple of pictures of it now. This house is labeled by the architect as a new American craftsman. I don't really see this as a typical like craftsman type of build, but I think it got that name because of some of the architectural details around the roof line. With like some wooden trusses that kind of give it a little bit of a craftsman look. But I think for the most part, I would just classify this house as kind of a traditional American house. 2-story, it's pretty big, it's got a lot of space. And so basically what I did is I just started, with looking at the reference photo and trying to piece together the layout of the exterior and then also the roof line, which, as I've said before, it does require some tweaking of I'll put down like a rough estimate of sort of what I feel like the sizes will be. And then I kind of sometimes have to trim rooms down and shift windows over, which you'll see me do. Again, I just did that with the main center column, and then I did it again here in a second on the left-hand side. Trying to get all the proportions right. We do have things in the game that we can't change, as far as like the sizes of windows and kind of the whole grid that we're working on when we build. So sometimes it does take me a little while to get the house in the correct shape. And so there you can see I realized that the left was just a little bit too wide, and I shifted that over. So yeah, I've described this process before as working with clay, and I think in this house it definitely was like that because every time I placed something different, I ended up having to change whatever it was that I had just done right before that. So I'm constantly shifting roofs over, moving windows, adjusting the layout of the roof line and everything, trying to replicate this house as close as I could to the original. This house has a total of 4 bedrooms and 5 bathrooms. It will sleep a maximum of 6 Sims, and then I've also included items for pets. The house itself has kind of a mixture of different designs and colors. I would say overall it does have a little bit of a rustic interior mixed with a lot of traditional elements, and the colors. There's a lot of gray in this house, and that was kind of inspired by the pictures of the real house. And then for the exterior, the real house was a little bit of a lighter gray than the gray that I ended up using, but it was pretty close. And the main thing that kind of stipulated the colors for the exterior were these columns from Seasons. I knew I wanted to use this light brown wood because that would match the original house the closest. But unfortunately, I can't adjust the color of the stone at the bottom, which meant I had to use this dark gray stone, which really I much would have rather used the lighter gray, but there was nothing I could do about it. So I did have to use the dark gray for the exterior, and that did give the house overall, I think, a darker sort of vibe than the original reference picture. But this is the way it always goes in The Sims when it comes to doing any kind of real to Sims type build, is you'll have to kind of choose your battles, and sometimes you just can't have it exactly the way you want it, especially since I don't use any custom content. And I've had actually a lot of questions about that on Instagram when I say no CC. CC means custom content, and that's player created content. So if you're familiar with that, you probably already know that there are a lot of Simmers who design their own content for the game, rather it be different kinds of wallpapers or furniture or whatever. So since I don't use any CC in my builds, I do have kind of a struggle always to try to find things that are in the game that will actually, be as close as they can get to the house that I'm trying to recreate. This had kind of an interesting roof line. It took quite a while to get everything kind of aligned with the different roof pieces and adding all of these little trusses. I get this question all the time too. These little decorative wooden trusses are from Get Together. You may not even know that you have them, but if you have Windenburg, then you definitely have these pieces. They are in the wall sculptures sort, and they're really fun to work with when doing these kind of like Craftsman style builds, since we don't really have a way to recreate any kind of like wooden trusses in the game as it is without using CC. So I really like using those, but inevitably every time that I do, I end up getting like 5 comments asking me if those are CC, and they are actually in the game. So here you just saw me shift the house over a little bit. I was trying to give plenty of room for the driveway. I've mentioned this before, but when I do these kind of fake garages, I always raise the terrain up over the foundation because I want a smooth line from the road up to the garage door without a big chunk of foundation, because just, I don't know, aesthetically it just looks better if you imagine that cars were pulling in there, that it would be a smooth surface. Lately, I've actually been building a lot of houses with garages. And when I say that, I mean like actual real garages where I put like fake cars in there and all different kinds of like garage junk and stuff. Probably I would say at least the last 5 or 6 houses that I've done have had garages. But for this house, I kind of went back to the way that I always used to do it, where it looks like a garage from the outside, but inside it's living space. And the main reason I did that is because I really needed the living space in order to have enough room for everything that I wanted to put inside this house. And also just because, I like to kind of vary things and keep things, keep all my builds a little bit different. So I thought it was about time that I got back to doing these kind of fake garages. I know some people really, really don't like them. I've had a couple of comments before on older videos where people are like, I can't stand these fake garages. So I'm really sorry if you're one of those people who can't stand fake garages. But there are a bunch of houses in my gallery listings that do have real garages, if that's what you prefer. Anyway, we are now inside the house working on the floor plan. As you can see, it's a pretty big house. All of the bedrooms are upstairs and the entire first floor is family living space. I had kind of thought that maybe I was going to put the master bedroom on the first floor since I had plenty of space. But then later, as I was actually going in and floor planning it, I decided to put it upstairs with the kids' rooms. So that kept this entire first floor open for just anything that I wanted it to be. So I ended up having a laundry room, a big guest bath, and then I also ended up having an extra room that I kind of made into like a hobby room, and then another large sort of like hallway that I used for like a little game room. So yeah, it's kind of nice when I end up having extra space like that where I can just throw in like different kinds of activities for Sims, especially if I can get in like skill building type stuff. Because as I've said many times before, I always build for gameplay. And so I want people to be able to go into the gallery, take one of these houses, drop it in their game, and be able to actually play the game, with building your Sim skills, whether it be through the chess set or through different kinds of musical instruments or a bar or whatever it could be. I'm always trying to think of stuff like that as I'm building. So the house can be, not only nice to look at, but also functional for gameplay. Anyway, as I've been talking here, you've seen me floor planning the upstairs where the master bedroom, and then there are 3 kids' bedrooms, which I ended up designing for 1 teen, 1 child, and 1 toddler, which I feel like I've probably been doing a little bit too often, but I don't know, it just makes the most sense to me to have one of each age range. So that's the way it always tends to turn out. Starting down here in the kitchen, I decided to go with these black and white cabinets from Vampire Stuff Pack. I love these cabinets. I use them all the time. Inevitably, somebody always asks me what pack these cabinets are from, because they really don't look like vampire type furniture. Like most of the stuff in the Vampire Pack doesn't really have much versatility for like regular family homes. And so I don't use that pack a ton for the type of houses that I build, unless it's like on Halloween time of year when I'm building a lot of like spooky stuff. But these cabinets are the one thing that are like my go-to thing from Vampire Stuff. So I love them. I just think they have this perfect mixture of like rustic country, plus with the black and white, it's really nice when I'm working in these types of houses where I want to do a lot of gray. And like I said before, the actual house that I was referencing had a ton of gray in it. And so that was kind of why I was sticking to a lot of these monochromatic colors in the kitchen. So the dinette set here is from Cats and Dogs, and this serves as the dining area for the family because there is no formal dining room in this house. So it's just here in the kitchen. And that giant window is from Laundry Day. It kind of bays out there from the side, which I love. That's another one of my favorite items to use, especially in kitchens. And so for this kitchen, because it was so gigantic, I was able to kind of do these zones. So against one wall is like the stove area. Then on one side, I've got the fridge. And then on the other side, I've got the sink and the dishwasher in front of the window. And I kind of like how that turned out. It gave a lot of space. So if you have a big family and you've got, someone washing a dish and someone else is cooking at the stove and someone else is getting a snack out of the fridge, it's like really nice for traffic. Because a lot of times if your sim can't get to where they need to go. Like if you've got one sim standing at the dishwasher or at the sink and that's right by the fridge, then they'll just stop going towards the fridge because it's blocked. So yeah, I always think about that when I'm building these big kitchens, that it makes it nice that the Sims can all get around and not get in each other's way. Out here in the main living room area, it's kind of open to the front door entry. So as you come in through this main entryway, it kind of opens up into the living room. Again, I'm using a lot of black and white and gray out here as well. That fireplace is from Cats and Dogs. And then I also did this full-size bar from Cats and Dogs, which when I have a really big living room, I like to use these big bars because they're nice for entertaining. They're also really good for skill building, and they also just take up a lot of space, which is kind of nice. And then for the living room set, I chose Jungle Adventure. I think it fit the theme of this house pretty well since it's kind of sitting on this mountainous sort of rustic lot. I felt like the furniture kind of vibed with the whole feel of like the outside and the inside. And I've talked about that before. A lot of times when I'm doing an interior, I'm definitely inspired by the exterior. Well, the exterior of the home and also of the lot. So yeah, I was kind of thinking a mountainous area, nothing in particular, but it kind of gave me some guidance as to what I might want to choose. And I use these same mason jar lights that I used in the kitchen that have kind of those wrought iron fixtures, which I really like, and I felt like that went really nicely with the reference photo. And then over here in between the living room and the kitchen is kind of like a little butler's pantry area where I put this hutch. And also right across from it is where I put the pet stuff. So there's like a food dish and a litter box and stuff like that. So this family could have cats and dogs. And now you're getting a better look at this furniture from Jungle Adventure. Everything you're seeing there is Jungle Adventure except for the coffee table. That coffee table is from Parenthood. And then over by the front door, I did a little love seat from my first pet stuff that fits really nicely in the crook of those stairs. And of course there's a bookcase in here, and I was just using the red clutter shelf to kind of decorate the little spaces. If you're not familiar with this shelf, there is a link in the description to download it, and basically it just puts it into your game kind of like a decor object. You can find it under surfaces in the shelf area. And when you put it in the game, you can place items on it and then shift those items over to like pretty much anywhere you want to put them. If you want to put things on bookcases or tables that don't normally have like a position where it would snap in place, or you just want to have more freedom to kind of design it your own way, I highly recommend that red clutter shelf. Now I'm back in the kitchen. I'm sorry I'm kind of jumping around, but I tend to do this when I have a house with a big open floor plan like this, where I'll go back and forth between the kitchen and the living room. This, again, lots of black and white I'm pulling out for the decor because it's just, it's matching nicely with the cabinets and the tile. Oh, I think I forgot to mention this tile is also from Jungle Adventure. The appliances, at first I started with Parenthood appliances, and then I ended up switching them to these more modern ones that are from Cool Kitchen Stuff. Just because I thought they looked a little more kind of sleek and a little nicer than the Parenthood ones. And this room, it definitely has a lot of black and gray. And so I was trying to think of ways I could introduce some color. So I did put quite a few flowers around this dining area here by the windows and also on the table to kind of brighten it up a little bit. You've probably noticed if you've been watching my channel over the last few weeks, I've been doing a lot of spring inspired builds, and I've been doing a lot of stuff with flowers and flower arranging tables and stuff like that because it just kind of makes sense to me right now this time of year. So I was kind of thinking about that as I was doing the interior of that. I wanted to bring a lot of flowers into this build, and I feel like it kind of fits that rustic, outdoorsy Glimmerbrook sort of vibe. Now, as you know, Glimmerbrook came with the Realm of Magic pack. So you will see a lot of magic type builds and houses that are specifically designed for like spellcasters in Glimmerbrook, which I've done a few of those. I think I've done at least 2. But then I just kind of like using Glimmerbrook because I just really like the way it looks, like with the mountains and the scenery and everything. It kind of reminds me of Granite Falls, which is a world that I always wish we could have as like an open, just like regular community that wasn't just rental property. So I think Realm of Magic definitely brought in another sort of beautiful world to work in. Over here by the stove, you see me just cluttering up these shelves. again, this red clutter shelf is indispensable. It's just so important when doing these kind of projects where you're filling shelves with a lot of items. It just makes it so much easier. And that other little shelf on the other side with the coffee mugs and the little oven mitt, that is from Tiny Living. Had a couple people ask me about that, I think in the last house I built. So yeah, that's from Tiny Living. Tiny Living actually came with a lot of new things that I like, other than just the small furniture, but it came with like some decor things that I really like. Here I skipped myself building or working in the office kind of by accident. I had the recording turned off because I was playing around with a bunch of different office furniture and wallpaper and kind of forgot to turn it back on. But basically the office is pretty large, and it has a lot of bookshelves on one side, and then on the other side it has kind of a little mini art studio with an easel and some paintings. I went in and pulled out some paintings from the gallery, which if you haven't done that, I highly recommend. If you just go into the gallery, go into search items and just type in the word artwork. You will get so much artwork. It's amazing, just the things that people have created, and it's not CC. It's all, perfectly fine to use in the game. And so that's always a fun way to kind of spice up your art studio areas. Here, I've kind of talked over this whole entire part, but you saw that little game area where I did the chess table, and there's like a fish tank in there and a stereo and stuff. And then here, this is kind of my little idea for a hobby room. And so I put the flower arranging table in here, and then I just put a whole bunch of shelves and tables and stuff, because I figured once you're actually living in this house, you could use these tables and shelves to display your floral arrangements. So these are kind of just random flowers that I pulled out of the what am I trying to say? Random flowers that I pulled out of the catalog, but you could definitely replace those with real flower arrangements. Then just across from the hobby room is the laundry room and the guest bath. This guest bath is actually really large. I had a lot of space to work with in here. So I went ahead and gave it double sinks and a tub and a shower. I always like to put a bathtub on the first floor because I think of it as being really useful for the dog. If you've got a dog that comes in who's been sprayed by a skunk or something, it's kind of nice if there's a bathtub close by and you don't have to take them all the way upstairs. So that's why I'm always putting one kind of near like a mudroom or near a back door. Most of the stuff in here is from Parenthood, I believe. I know the tiles are. The tub and toilet, I believe, are from Cats and Dogs. So yeah, kind of all my typical rustic build, country build packs. So you've got a lot of Parenthood, Jungle Adventure, Seasons, yeah, all my kind of go-tos. Here I'm just cluttering up the cabinets with some random bathroom stuff. And you can see I add a little extra light. I've been trying to do better with lighting my homes that have these higher ceilings, because I started realizing that the rooms were really dark. And I think it's just because when you work with high ceilings, the normal light that you would use, it doesn't brighten the room as much as it would if it was lower down. So I've been trying to remember to put in some extra floodlights or double up on the number of lights, just because I kind of think it helps to not make the rooms quite as kind of shadowed. And I especially notice that when I go through to do the screenshots, and then I'm always going back later and adding more lights. But here, this is the laundry room and the mud room that goes to the side entrance. Obviously everything in here from laundry day. There's a nice washing tub and of course the washer and dryer and all the things that you would expect to see. I trimmed out this video too because it was getting so long, but that large cabinet there, I went through the debug catalog and pulled out a whole bunch of different random junk to kind of fill all the shelves. So you'll notice that if you download this house. And hopefully you do download it and see what you think. If you've ever had, I've been having a lot of questions lately about downloading and people who are having difficulties with downloading. So I'll just remind you that it's really important to enter the cheat for move objects before you download the house. So what I recommend doing is go to the lot where you want to put the house, demolish, whatever is there, if there's anything there first, then put in the cheat, the bb.moveObjects cheat, put that cheat in, and then go into the gallery and get the house and place it on the lot. That way you won't have things that are missing, because 9 times out of 10, if something's missing, that's probably the reason why. Well, either that or you don't have the specific pack. I've had people message me before say, oh, there's no, kitchen cabinets in this house. And I'll say, well, if it's from a pack that you don't own, then sometimes you'll see stuff that'll be missing. But for the most part, if you have the pack, it's just a matter of entering that cheat so that you won't have stuff that's not showing up. Here we are on the second floor. This is the master bedroom. This bedroom was kind of inspired by the rug. I really wanted to use this rug, and so I chose a bed and a wallpaper that I thought matched it. I feel like this room is pretty soft, and I like kind of the vibe of how seems kind of relaxing and chill. I think blue always does that for a bedroom, especially a master bedroom. That chair is from Get Famous, and then the chest and the nightstands are from Seasons. The curtains in here were a little bit difficult to find. I ended up using these long drapes from Discover University, and then just over the bed I did some blinds instead and kind of mixed it together. I think it turned out okay. The top part of the drapery panel is the same gray color as the blinds, so I think it turned out that it matched better probably than I thought it was going to. And on the other side of the bedroom here, I've given them a bookcase and like a little bit of a closet space with some clothes. And then, of course, the master bath is quite large. This wallpaper is from Realm of Magic. And for the plumbing fixtures in here, I decided to go with Seasons, so that complements the bedroom, I think, nicely. It has a tub and a shower with double sinks. And I like how the tan color in this wood matches the plumbing that's also trimmed out in tan. There's a little fast forward there. So I was definitely using a lot of that color in this room. And that new little shelf from Tiny Living that has the towel rack underneath, I thought that matched pretty nice as well. Then right next door to the master bath is the first kids bedroom, which is for the teen. And this bed is from Cats and Dogs. And then the furniture that I used with it is from Discover University. I was definitely going for more of a mature vibe in here, thinking of an older child. So I used some decor that came with Discover University and mixed it with kind of some student collegiate looking designs. I started out with this rug with the different shades of blue and then changed it over to aqua because I felt like it matched a little bit better with the curtains and the bedding. I actually really like how this room turned out. I think when I'm going through, like scrolling through Instagram, anytime I see a bedroom that has a lot of white, it always catches my eye. It just feels so clean and neat, which would probably never last in my house. I wouldn't be able to keep it bright white. So yeah, only in The Sims can we dream of having these perfectly white rooms. Over here by the desk, I put a little bench, and there's a laptop, and yeah, a little corner lamp to kind of brighten things up. Like I said earlier, I've been trying to brighten up rooms a little bit more and adding more light. So a combination of ceiling lights and floodlights and lamps to kind of keep the lighting less shadowed. Yeah, and then this teen also has a guitar and a backpack. So yeah, typical stuff, but I do like the color and how it turned out. And then for the coordinating bathroom right next door, each of these kids have their own bathroom. So it is in the same color palette as the bedroom to be nice and matching. Since it was such a large bathroom, I was able to use a big corner tub in here. And there's a lot of gray mixed with aqua. I started out with this tile that was a little more soft, that's kind of a little more green, and then I switched it because I had kind of temporarily forgotten that we actually had a tile that was the exact same color as that rug, and so then I switched it over, and I think it looked a lot better. Yeah, so this teen definitely has a lot of their own private space, and it would even be nice for like a college-aged sim, or even if you had another adult sim living in the family, like an aunt or something, they would probably like this bedroom. So it's pretty versatile. And the plumbing in here is a mixture of base game, cats and dogs, and parenthood. And there's a big walk-in closet here. A lot of times when I have extra space in a floor plan where I have one or two tiles left over, I'll stick a walk-in closet into that space to kind of utilize it so it's not just a dead zone. And then the next bedroom is for the child, and this room is definitely very bright. It has a lot of pink and purple. I mainly designed the bedroom off of the curtains, and the bedding kind of set the theme for the entire room. And so that's how I picked the decor and the furniture to make it all match really nicely. So this kid has a lot of stuff. They have a big screen TV with a gaming system. They have a toy box. They have a desk with a laptop. They have like a little reading corner with a comfy chair. And then, of course, chest of drawers and a full-length mirror. So, yeah, everything that a kid could need. The wallpaper is base game. That chest is actually for movie night out stuff. And then the furniture is from the kids stuff pack, and the mirror is from Parenthood. So yeah, lots of different packs, but definitely all within the same color family of pinks and purples. Yeah, and then the desk over here on this side, kind of separate from the gaming area. This bedroom is very long and narrow. So it's definitely designed kind of almost like two zones, where you have kind of the sleeping gaming zone on one side, and then over here is like the reading and computer and homework area. Yeah, and then this bedroom also has its own bathroom. I did not record it because it wasn't very exciting. It's just a mostly white tile with a lot of pink accents. There's a tub and shower combo with a pink shower curtain and some pink towels, but other than that, it's mostly white. So yeah, pretty good sized bathroom though. And here I'm just adding a toy box and a few more toys, like there's stuffed animals and books and things. And then I put some Christmas lights around the canopy bed to kind of jazz it up a little bit. And then there's just some throw pillows on the floor in front of the TV, kind of where you think maybe a kid would sit and do their gaming, even though I I don't know if they would sit on those cushions and play video games, but if they did, that would be pretty cool. And then here for the fourth and final bedroom is the toddler room. And this has been designed in a black and white and red color palette. The furniture is from Cats and Dogs, and it's cute. It has little red paw prints for all the drawer pulls, and of course a little toddler bed. And then the ladybug rug is really cute to match those drawer pulls. And that wallpaper, the feature wall with the trees, is from Parenthood. And then the curtains are also from Cats and Dogs. So lots of little paw prints and dog bones and things in the decor of this room. Over here on the chest, I just put a few toddler toys and a little rubber ducky. And there's a bookcase over here that's a black and white panda with red shelves. So yeah, I love the colors of this room, because normally for toddler rooms, you think of, you know, light pink or light yellow or like a very pale green. So it's fun sometimes to do something a little bit out of the box and do these bright colors. And black, I mean, you definitely probably don't typically think of black for a toddler room, but I just think it looks really cute. And hey, when they're at toddler age, you still get to pick the colors. They don't get any say, right? So you can make it look any way you want. And then I added the toddler tablet and building blocks, so they would be all set to go. And then this toddler also has their own bathroom, because why not? Have this huge upstairs to work with. So it's kind of a small bathroom, but it has a full-size tub, and there's a little potty seat in here, and everything's been done in red to match the bedroom. So the tile is white, and then the sink and tub are red and white. And then I also picked up red in the potty seat and in the towels and in the laundry hamper. So I'm trying to use as much red. Oh, and in the mirror too. So there's as much red as I could make work in here, so it would all match really nicely. And I think as this child ages up into you know, an older sim, it'll be nice that they have their own bathroom over here too. So these kids are all very lucky to have these nice big rooms and bathrooms that they don't have to share with anyone. Yeah, so this is the end of the interior. Just a little bit left here of the video of me working outside on a few last minute things. But yeah, that's gonna about do it for this build. Definitely leave me a comment and let me know what you think. Do you like this house? What do you think of the design? And what do you think of the interior? I'm always anxious to hear your thoughts. And also, of course, what else would you like to see me build? I noticed that my last speed build, which was an apartment called Wealthy Sims Apartment, has been doing really well. It has more views than I normally get. So maybe you guys would like to see more modern stuff like that, which definitely I can do if you are interested. Or maybe you like these kind of rustic, big family homes. So yeah, just let me know. And out here you kind of get a little look at the landscaping. I was mostly trying to match Glimmerbrook. So there's a lot of pine trees and a lot of shrubbery that came with Outdoor Retreat, because it all just looks very mountainous and it fits the whole vibe of Glimmerbrook. So back here in the backyard, they have a pool and there's some gardening areas and there's a lot of outdoor seating and stuff. So yeah, they have a nice, nice backyard. So that's going to do it for this build. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.